We're talking about change. Now, something that I say to all of my students and all of my clients is actually change is quite simple. There are only two things required for change. You need to have desire, right? Desire is required. You must have desire. At point B, you must have desire. And you must have willingness, right? So you must have willingness to give it what it takes. So you have to have willingness to give it what it takes. Now, notice how I said you don't have to have willingness to give it all you've got, because most people who live their lives, if you were to ask them, they would say, I'm giving it all I got, and I gave it all I got, and I didn't get it, right? That's most people's experience of life. They gave it all they got. The problem is that's not all you got. That's all you think you have. See, the process of change only requires one, that the person have bona fide desire. They want it badly. That is absolutely a prerequisite right here. You must have desire. Then the only thing you need is willingness to give it what it takes to achieve the change at point C. You've got to give it what it takes. I know that that might not be what you're aware of, because obviously if you knew how to get what you want, you'd already have it. So would your clients. So you have to be willing to give it what it takes, which means willing to get up every time you fall, willing to dig deeper, willing to base your actions on the assumption that you do have more than you think you do. And most people see they give up. Now, I don't want to come across as a Pollyanna, as a sugarcoater, or just say, oh, just think positive. That's all you've got to do. Thinking positive is super important. And if you can't do it, you'll be facing the wrong direction, so to speak. But there's more to it than that. You actually have to be willing to get up every single time you fall, because, and remember, now this is important. If you have the desire, you already have what it takes, but you need to get in touch with it, right? You already have what it takes. Think about the metaphor of the baby learning to walk. Over there at point A, blob baby, no desire to walk, not neurologically developed. Somewhere between point A and point B, we check off a checklist of criteria that need to be met before we can embark on this change, right? So when the little guy gives the go-ahead for the desire to walk, what that indicates is that all the components are ready to go, but they're not in a sequence yet that produces the behavior. So therefore, the desire to change is absolutely required. And it's also an indicator that you have what it takes. I'm not trying to just be a motivational speaker here. It's an indicator that you are ready to take this on. But what hasn't happened is you haven't found the sequence. And that's where willingness comes in. You have to be willing to keep going and give it what it takes. And if you're going through hell, keep going. Remember what Churchill said. If you're going through hell, keep going, because eventually you will find the sequence. He also said, never, ever quit. Right? So Churchill said, never, ever quit, because the only way that you're going to get there is if you get up every time you fall down. I believe there's an ancient proverb that says, fall down 7 times, get up 8, right? That's the key. Desire comes from within. It means you're ready. Willingness means you've got to keep going and be willing to give it what it takes. So if you're a client of a coach, you've got to have the desire and you've got to have the willingness. But if you're a coach, your client, you have to be able to spot desire in your client, burning desire, and the willingness to give it what it takes. And typically, this can be spotted in coachability. If the client's coachable and they're willing to do what it takes, and you have the tools that enable them to produce the behavior, then you're going to have a very successful coaching relationship. So all you need to change anything in your life, I don't care what area of life it is, I don't care what it is, you need desire to change and willingness to give it what it takes. Side note, if it's ever been done before, it can be done again. You just have to find the model. And if it's never been done before, that doesn't mean you can't do it, but it means you're going to have to be a trailblazer, and you're going to have extra willingness, and you're going to have to keep going even when you don't want to. That's the key. Desire and willingness. That's all it takes to change anything.